No, that should have been in.
That's for our ears only.
You should have left that in.
Oh.
Yo.
So I got some tricks up my sleeve. Hello. Welcome to Shrimp
We're
Hours
so
number
back.
101. It's season 3. We got new graphics again. I cooked.
And it was almost dead.
It did almost die, but it's a weekly occurrence at this point. Hi, I'm here. I'm Drive-Thru. Ben's here. Slop's here.
Hello.
Rusty's here. And back, fittingly enough, for episode 101. We got
boys?
CMR. How we doing?
What up?
In the Chiefs shirt, of course.
Looking good.
What else would I be in? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're about half the size as you were when you were last on this show.
You're probably right. It's been a little bit since I've been to the gym still, but we've
Nah,
been
you're looking
working.
great.
We've still
You've
been
been on that game.
Hell yeah.
You're damn right.
Laying
Alright.
off these.
I want to open up the show first and do something that I should have done last time. Is that another Prime? We got Primes 2 weeks in a
Oh
row.
my god.
You got the leaded
That's
prime.
why he's so thin. He's got lead poisoning.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you tell me lead poisoning can get me slimmed down? I might have to go
Yeah, hold on.
chug some molten lead here real quick.
Hold on.
Where are the leaded paint chips?
Shrimp Hours does
Could use
not
a good
condone
snack.
eating lead. We do condone buying our merch though, and I should have plugged this at the start of last show. But we have the season 2 merch.
Nope, wrong way.
As I mentioned before, with you can get the poster with the the cool moving truck and all of the episode titles. You can also get it in shirt form with the shrimp driving the truck on the front, and much like last season, all the names on the back. It's a good template. Imagine we'll see this again if we ever get through the 3rd season. But also, there's some merch that I forgot to plug last week. I did plug the backpack, which Ben has, which is based, and I included the picture that you took on the
hell yeah.
website, Ben, at the track.
Miller Lite liquid IV Vienna
A
sausage.
Vienna
That's all
sausage.
you need.
It's the real shrimp track experience.
Pistachio shells in the back.
Yes, shells on the floor. So yeah, $40 for the backpack, 15 for the poster, 25 for the shirt, 20 for the
40 bucks for a
pint glass.
backpack. That's outrageous. I'll take 10.
Oh, we also have the dad hat, which is embroidered. It's like $25, and it's a cute little summer hat with a little embroidered shrimp on it. And that's also $25. We make like $2 off each of these items. Like I set all the profit margins at an absolute minimum to try and get that stuff out.
Yeah, the costs are high because the quality is high, not because we're trying to scam you out of your money.
Yeah.
Whatever YouTuber says.
Listen, man. I just want people to wear our stuff. If you do buy our stuff, take a picture and tag us at ShrimpHub Cool on pretty much everything. I'd love to see it. All right. Let's get the NASCAR talk out of the way quickly. Did anyone watch Iowa?
I
Nope.
didn't, because House of the Dragon episode 1 season 2 was dropping. Let's
Hold
go
on,
straight
hold
to
on,
the
hold on,
check-in.
hold on.
Yes. Check in, because peak cinema is back. We have The Boys season 4. We have House of the Dragon season 2. We are living good. We're eating good. We're so back.
You've taken control of the podcast.
It's mine now.
I was cracked on a game we'll talk about later, so I did not watch the race at all.
I wasn't around for Xfinity. I watched the end of Cup, and it was okay for a Cup short track race and a next gen. I didn't mind it. The overall opinion seemed to be that like Iowa was packed. They had 1 billion dudes come out for the Xfinity race. It was sold out both days, I think, and the racing was pretty good. And if they pave the top, it'll be a good track, I think. So yeah, shout out to Rusty Wallace.
Yeah, when I
It
saw
seemed
that
to
the
go
turns
well.
were repaved, I thought it was going to suck, but apparently it worked out.
Yeah.
I heard that
Um,
possibly had like the Bristol effect where people are trying to knock people out of the line and then they would get sent out to the high side.
Put on the 2006 pavement.
Yeah, the good
Yeah.
Bristol.
There's more IndyCar drama this week. Someone else got kicked out of another seat. Who cares?
It's
all
the
right,
clown car over there at McLaren. I mean, I don't know if they know what they're doing.
Can I play a Twitter clip for you guys?
Sure.
So for what's Twitter doing, I have a clip to play you, but I'm gonna mute it for the audience. And you'll see why. Let me see if I can do this in a reasonable way here.
Oh.
It's this Legends race at Charlotte.
Uh-oh, I already see why.
I just want you to react to the call to this finish line.
Oh no.
They say it like 8 times. I need Caleb. I thought that'd get a bigger pop.
That's my first time hearing that. I like it.
Yeah, there's a
That
certain.
kid had a tough time in high school.
At that point, like, you gotta just go by your middle name, right?
I'm requesting a
But that's
name
the last
change.
name.
It deserves to die out.
Yeah, but there's people that go by their middle names as a stage name. Anyway, shout out to that guy. There's this I can't say his name, but I thought it was funny. Damn.
Can I say it?
No, no, that's the thing. You cannot say it. All right.
Take the hit, DT.
If there's an edit in this
You're off
podcast,
the
you know what
hook,
words
baby.
was said.
Jesus Christ. Someone asked to see the like edited clips from last
No.
week.
No.
I told him $200 PayPal, but
Oh my god. I'll pay you $300 to keep it off.
you got a deal.
All right, you hear that, fans? Better increase that
Got
wager.
a bidding war on the.
DT, if somebody pays you money to cancel me, I'll pay better, I promise.
I now hold a lot of power. This is great.
I'm coming up to Toronto with the Ryder truck tomorrow.
In other Twitter news, they made likes private because Elon kept getting caught
I can finally like
being
Rhett
horny.
Ripley posts in peace and quiet
on the main. You mean?
on Maine.
Elon got caught too many times and he changed the rules for the entire system, and now everyone responded by putting Meverse memes in the comment section of everything.
Yeah, the +1, yeah.
Yeah,
I
interesting.
like what
times.
Mark Hamill's been doing recently is just typing out in the comments like.
Yeah,
on
people have also
every
gone in
post
that
that-
direction. Yeah, the shit show continues and no one leaves and we're all stuck here and it sucks. All right, let's go to Animal
Is
Planet.
the man stupid?
It's an earthquake.
A lot of animals on the planet.
Apparently.
That was cute.
Thanks. I had fun with that. It did take me a while, and I did get the song stuck in my head, but these things happen. Animal Planet is a section of the podcast where we talk about the animals among us, whether at racetracks or at job sites or loose dogs on streets in the middle of nowhere. Do we
I
have
was
any...
on my rural route again today. Met a couple of cool cats.
Oh yeah, shut up.
Came right up to me and they wanted to be scritched and petted and all that.
Little farm cats.
Yeah, one of them was like a tiger. Had like tiger stripes and a little white bow tie on his chest. He was cool.
Oh.
So some of my favorite Animal Planet stories are animals from the job, and I did specifically ask CMR because he's coming on the show. I would love to hear about various animals through your various experiences out in Kansas.
Yes. I mean, look, when you're a pizza guy, you run into a lot of different animals, both in the physical sense of animals and people. I don't know. I mean, you deal with a lot of schools that want big orders and just
Oh, what's the
Oh,
biggest
that
order
sucks.
you've had to deliver?
the biggest I've had to deliver, I want to say maybe
200 pizzas to the Pentagon.
no, I'd probably say maybe 50 or 70.
Holy shit!
That's
That's
a
a
lot.
car
How do you put that
full
in your
of pizzas.
car?
It does fill up my Ford Explorer. Just a little bit. Other than that, I mean, I can't think of anything that's just too, crazy. I mean, we've had some bad weather, had to deal with some trash cans out on the street. Had to do some swerving.
Oh, dude, when it's trash day, there's like one neighborhood where like it's literally like on a hill, like the whole neighborhood's like on a hill, and there's like 2 streets in and out of it, and they go straight down the hill. And if it's trash day on a Tuesday and there's been like a heavy rain, all those cans are coming down the hill. Because they don't have any freaking drainage areas, so it's just like a river just coming down this neighborhood. It's like
So the water carries the bins?
yeah, so they it, as you get further and further down, it's like more and more water, so it like builds up momentum. It's just like a trash can tsunami down at the bottom.
Trash can tsunami.
Put it on the list. That's going to be the podcast title.
I imagine
when
Kansas, though.
Smart says he has to dodge trash cans, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Well, there it's probably the wind, right?
Yeah, you would be right. Yeah, that's probably your majority of trouble.
Yeah, I've seen wind take their fair share of trash cans and just yeet them out into the street before.
It's been like decently windy around here recently, but now it's just hot as balls. Like this whole week, it's just hot as hell. It sucks. I don't know how many American degrees it is, but it's like 33 Canadian ones.
It's been
Midwest is
around
not been
95,
fortunate.
96 and humid.
Yeah.
Which I know for slap is nothing, but
Hey, you want to know what the high today in South Carolina was? 85
was it?
low humidity.
Really?
Yeah. Must be
Doing
nice.
our weather.
Hey, we get it next week. I think the high next week is going into Monday 99.
I guess another what's Twitter doing is I saw a bunch of people trying to dunk on Brits this week because apparently there was a heat warning in England. I don't know where it was in the UK. I think it was England, where they said like, "Hey guys, there's a heat warning for 48 hours. It's going to be 26 degrees Celsius," which for you Americans I think is like 80 or something like that.
The
But
difference there though is that not
They don't have
everyone has
AC.
AC over
No.
there.
And their buildings are old and
Yeah, they're old as piss and they have poor
Drafty.
ventilation.
yeah. But I mean, to be fair, if it's like 80 overnight, if that's what 26 degrees is, 'cause that's still not fun. Well, I'm gonna do the math here to make
No.
sure I'm right. Yeah, it's 79.
Yeah, 78.8 degrees. What the fuck?
Yeah, but if that's the low point, like overnight, you can never like cool a house down.
Oh yeah,
I
that
imagine the
sucks.
daytime was hotter. But it was just a bunch of Americans trying to dunk on the Brits. And the Brits
been-
trying to be like,
I've been,
we understand.
I've been super lucky. Like the low here in South Carolina has been like high 60s at night. So it like actually has a chance for everything to cool down, and then
Yeah.
like it goes back up during the day, which that makes all the difference in the world. Like I was working one night, and the low for that night, it was like midnight by the time I got home because I just got my ass absolutely kicked at work. I got home at night like around midnight, and it was still 90.
Oh my god.
Oh. It's just cruel when it's dark out
Yeah.
and it's still hot. Ugh.
Speaking of Europeans and AC, not having AC and all that shit, there was this like a kid from Turkey on Twitter. He was like, "Oh my god, I finally get it. The Americans were right. I got AC in my house for the first time. This is the greatest thing ever."
I saw that as well.
and then somebody, the top comment on it was, "I guess this settles the debate between whether Turkey's part of Europe or not. They're definitely not part of Europe. They're too smart to be European."
Because they actually got AC.
Like, I don't know how the hell you exist in Turkey without AC, man. It gets hot out there,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Turkey is it's like borderline desert. Like it's pretty arid out there. I don't know. Maybe they get some cool Mediterranean air or something. Depends where in Turkey. Turkey's also really big.
I know. Like Turkey's a lot like New Mexico, because in New Mexico they have a lot of buildings and houses that don't have AC or anything in them. They just have these super tall fucking ceilings, and then it's
All
just
the heat
naturally
rises.
it just naturally like ventilates out and everything. Because I was at my aunt's house in Albuquerque. She had this like massive, like 20-foot tall ceiling in like the living room and everything. Because it's a 2-story house, but like the living room, the central part of the house is just this massive fucking tall ceiling. And I didn't even realize she didn't even have AC. It was like the middle of August.
Damn.
And it's just like it has this natural like ventilation, like as the air
I guess
comes
that
in, it
makes
goes up
sense.
and out.
Because I think of like Mexican houses or like Floridian ones, and they all have really tall ceilings. Especially
Well,
like
there's a reason why Florida was like a backwater state all the way up until like the 1950s when air conditioning was invented. It's like nobody wants to live there when it's 95, ultra humid, no air conditioning. You just got to have a tall ceiling in your house.
yeah, and just not move much. And they don't even have basements out there. You can't even hide in the basement like you can here. Here, even in the hot summer, the basements are glorious.
The
All
house I
right.
grew up in when I was a kid, we had a basement garage kind of, because the house was like on a slope. So it was 2 stories and it was like on the slope. And you had, like,
yeah.
the
The garage
and the
goes
basement
out.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
There was no heating or air down there. Like during the summer, it'd be nice and cool, be like 75 degrees down there. It was nice. Catch my dad down there just chilling, drinking some beers.
Yeah, that's what it's like here. It's like there's probably like 3 or 4 days every year where we actually need to like turn on the AC. Otherwise, it's like open the windows at night, go to the basement if it's really that hot. Not a problem. Is there any other animals to report in on? Rusty, have you found a new gym since you ditched the sad sauna?
Nah, nothing fun or interesting to report this week.
No cock and ball outline of sweat on the bench.
Yeah, I also had a very uninteresting week. I guess we have media to talk about. We'll talk about it then. But before that, I think Slap has a story to tell.
All right, so I want to have to any history buffs watching this, give me some rope here, because this happened. We put this together like 30 minutes before the show started. Apparently, DT and Rusty don't know who John Brown is.
Which is crazy.
That sounds like the most generic
I
name
understand
in history.
DT, but Rusty.
Yeah,
Like, this is American history.
But Rusty and his fascination with American terrorists has never heard about John Brown. But anyway, this is the story of the 1859 raid on Harper's Ferry, Virginia.
It's time for Slap's crazy ass moments in history.
Womp.
Dude.
All right, so our story of Harper's Ferry, Virginia, actually begins in Kansas, CMR. You probably know
Shout
about
out.
this story. You probably know about Bleeding Kansas. This was when Kansas and Missouri were trying to become states. There were rival factions of paramilitary groups, some pro-abolitionist, some pro-slavery, that would go there and like literally just fight each other in the streets, try to make like go to farms of people that were independent or whatever, and basically threaten them and say, hey, you're going to vote down an abolitionist ticket, right? You're going to vote down a slavery ticket, right? Because there was this big fight in the U.S. House and Senate between slave states and abolitionist states. And both sides knew that whichever one got a majority, it was going to be curtains for the other. So there were various compromises throughout the 1820s, 1830s, 1840s of we'll admit 2 states at a time. One will be abolitionist, one will be a slave state.
Damn.
And that's the way that we'll do it. Well, Kansas came along. Missouri had already been admitted, but Missouri had its own just absolute bloodbaths in the street. It got admitted, but in comes Kansas on its own, and they want to come in. And so all these paramilitary groups basically go in, just start killing each other, going after random people. It became known as an event called Bloody Kansas. Part of the pro-abolitionist forces there was a guy by the name of John Brown. He was by all accounts an abolitionist radical. He had no room for compromise. It was his way or the highway. He thought he had God on his side. He was close pen pals with Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass once said of him, I could write to free the slave, but John Brown could die to free the slave. And
he looks like a smug bastard too. Look at this guy. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Oh,
that is Twitter. Look at that handsome fellow. Look at him.
Look how smug he looks, though. Look at his freaking.
And that was back in the day when you had to hold that pose for 2 minutes. So he was smug for a full 2 minutes and did not break that, shit-eating grin. But John Brown is, he's a clean-cut, good-looking dude, very charismatic, got a lot of people on his side. And as Kansas eventually gets ushered into statehood, Bleeding Kansas comes to a close in the late 1850s. And John Brown's already got in his head, he's going to go for the next big push. He had heard about the slave revolt on the German coast of Louisiana, which was led by Monsieur Delon, who was an escaped African slave who basically worked as a enforcer on the plantation, but that was all a ruse, and he started this massive slave revolt down in Louisiana. So he gets it in his head he could do that in Virginia. Virginia was right there on the line between the free states and the slave states. Maryland, even though it ended up being part of the Union during the Civil War, it was a slave state. Delaware was a slave state, even though it was part of the Union. That hadn't been outlawed out there, but these were the border states. The governor of Delaware famously said, "Delaware was the first state to join the Union. I will be damned if it's the first to leave." So, and he basically put his dug his heels in over that. There's a lot of state pride and stuff going on, but John Brown decides there's an opening in a place called Harper's Ferry, Virginia. It's now in West Virginia, but West Virginia didn't exist yet. But down in Harper's Ferry, it's this little oxbow of I believe the Shenandoah River goes down through there. And way back in the day, there was a guy by the name of Harper, and he put up a ferry so you could get across the river. And a little town built up, a little cute little town, Devin, if you want to pull it up.
It's cute.
It basically is the same today as it was back then. If you want to look at the modern picture of it.
I was gonna say, there we go. There we go.
It's definitely a place I want to visit.
Yeah,
it's cute as hell.
And that's the way it looked back in the 1850s, and they've really not done that much else with it. The whole place is basically one gigantic historic district. Now there's actually a train track there, so there's no ferry anymore. But other than that, it's the same now as it was back then. But there is a federal armory in that area. There's a lot of plantations outside of Harper's Ferry in the back, way off in the distance. You can see some fields and stuff back there. There were some plantations and stuff out there. John Brown kind of pulls together a group of about 21 guys to help him. 6 white men and 5 freed black slaves, and they concoct a plan to raid the Harper's Ferry arsenal, get all of the weapons out, go up to the plantations, free all the slaves, and start up a massive slave revolt that will just go across Virginia, take to the Appalachians, and basically start a guerrilla army that will then come across the Carolinas and free all the slaves. This was at a time when basically the Congress had been deadlocked on the issue of slavery for 50 frickin' years at this point. So they're like, the time for action is now. We're doing this now. It's time for our rider truck moment, if you will. So over time, John Brown buys the Kennedy farmhouse up in the hills overlooking Harper's Ferry. He accumulates about 198 Sharps rifles, which are like these things are the AR-15 of their day, because these aren't like the muskets that you load in the muzzle and you gotta tamp the thing down. These are breech loaders, which means you can pop the end of it open, put in your powder and shot back there, close it up, and then you're ready to rock and roll. It's way faster. They don't have as much distance as the traditional rifled muskets and everything, but for what John Brown's trying to do, he doesn't need a whole lot of distance. This is a revolt. This isn't like an open Napoleonic battle or whatever. And so he gets all his guys. He's training them. He's got this guys where he's a minor prospector. That's his guys he's got going on. Changes his name. Goes by the name of Isaac now, and he's basically got all of Harper's Ferry like in like this. It's a ruse. They all buy it. They're like, oh, that's Mr. Isaac up there. He's looking for coal or whatever, and nobody pays him any attention. On October 16th at 11 p.m., he and his boys finally decide it's time to strike. They go up to the Belair plantation. They raid the place, free all the slaves, drive all of the plantation owners out, and then they move down into the town of Harper's Ferry. They get all the way down to the bridge where the train is, and that's where the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad operates. Down through there, just moving coal and stuff up through the mountains of Virginia. They go all the way down there. They get up to the arsenal, and they run off a watchman on the bridge whose job it was to signal ahead, all clear on the bridge for the trains coming up. And John Brown knew there was a train that was going to be coming because he'd been there for about a year at this point. And something went amiss. There was a watchman. He took off running. He's waving his lantern, trying to get a guy on the other side of the bridge's attention. This is a guy by the name of Hayward Shepherd. And Hayward Shepherd, tries to see what's going on, tries to go over to this watchman, brings his own lantern. The raiders come in. They tell him, freeze, don't move. He turns and runs. They shoot him in the back. He dies. Turns out Hayward Shepherd was a freed black man who worked for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad. The first guy that dies in the attempted slave revolt to free all these black people ended up being a freed black man. John Brown would later say this was his biggest mistake of the entire raid. He should have just not bothered the watchman, should have let the train go by unbothered. And this was a huge, massive fuck up. Not just in terms of lives lost, but in terms of optics, this is terrible. This is your whole freaking point of this is to free black people, and you just shot a free black dude in the fucking back. And so this leads to like this cavalcade of guys being like, all right, we gotta watch what we're doing now. Let's not get crazy here. The train eventually arrives, and they tell it, you can't go through here, you got to go back, while they're brandishing guns and stuff. So the train's like, all right, bet. So they go back, and in Harper's Ferry, they had cut all the telegraph lines, the raiders did. But the train goes back, goes to the nearest town that has a telegraph, and then wires up
and lets
to like
them know.
And lets the authorities know, like, hey, there's some like armed people down there that aren't letting us pass, or they said they would, but we didn't really want to. You should really get in on that. So as John Brown's trying to raid the arsenal, people start showing up for their morning shifts at about 6 a.m. And he starts taking them hostage and stuff. Word gets out among the town, and eventually about 60, 70 civilians, armed civilians come and chase John Brown down to the arsenal, which later becomes known as John Brown's Fort. It's a little tiny building that he basically turns into a fort, barricades all the doors around it. It was also known as the engine house. I believe they kept fire carriages and stuff there for the local fireman brigade. And this is where they make their last stand, because at this point, Robert E. Lee gets called up. He has a company of about 100 Marines that are coming down to Harper's Ferry. And in the morning, they get there and they start shooting it out with John Brown's men, which again is 22 dudes. And so they start shooting it out. And all the boys are there. You know, Jeb Stuart's there. Stonewall Jackson's under Robert E. Lee's command. You know, this is basically the dress rehearsal for the Civil War. This is so a lot of people say the first shot was at Fort Sumter in South Carolina. This was like really where there was no going back after this. And John Brown's men, there's a discussion amongst them like, hey, do we surrender? Do we go down fighting? A lot of the guys say, if we surrender, they're just going to hang us anyway. We're going to go down fighting. And of the guys that try to make a final break for it, they end up with 10 KIA. The rest are arrested. 7 are tried and executed. 5 guys escaped and actually headed out into the hills and were never heard from again. What became their fates, we're not entirely sure, because if you managed to get away from that, you didn't exactly write it down like, oh yeah, I was in a treasonous thing, and because there's no statute of limitations on treason. If you admit to that 50 years later, like, they can try you and execute you. But those guys got away, never heard from again. John Brown was eventually tried in a very hasty trial, was brought down to the hangman's noose, and that was the end of that escapade. But the thing was, this was the very first event, the very first military event or national crisis that was broadcast by telegraph. People found out about this hour by hour as it happened. There were crowds in New York City that would gather at the post office to hear about what the hell was going down in Harper's Ferry. This was like the first viral news event in American history, or maybe even world history, I guess you could call it. But yeah, that is the story of John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry.
Damn. So what's going on in this picture?
That is John Brown being taken out to be hung. Or hanged.
He really fucked it. That's incredible how much he biffed it.
One of the Marine officers said that was the greatest American conspiracy and the most well-planned American conspiracy that ever failed.
He spent a year doing recon, winning the hearts of these people, just to shoot a dude in the back, turn a train around that didn't need to get turned around, and then got locked in a little friggin' firehouse. No wonder I hadn't heard of him. That guy sucks.
Yeah, but John Brown became a folk hero among
I mean, he was
slaves.
based.
Yeah, slaves among the South. Like, eventually, even though the slave owners didn't want the slaves to know about it, word got down there, and then there was a lot of people that thought that this dude was based, and like, yeah, he's right, we do need to do something. And there were like rumblings and like little minor attempts at insurrections here and there, but really it was the election of 1860 with Abraham Lincoln getting elected, and then South Carolina being like, fuck you, we're out. And another thing that wasn't talked about was, like, after Abraham Lincoln was elected, tons of state militias ordered by the governor just raided federal armories, kind of like John Brown did, but it was just to get weapons so they could do the Civil War. So it was like Harper's Ferry, but reverse based.
Yeah. Very fitting, crazy ass moments in history.
Just in time for Juneteenth.
Yeah. A genuinely good history lesson.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we'll read some mail. That's the thing that we do, right?
Sure.
Send in
Your dripper drown.
Nah, they were like 2 interesting cars, and I didn't care that much about them.
The hamburger.
Cinnamon guys.
That was okay.
I don't give a fuck, man. You better send in those emails at this point. Welcome
Stop.
to
Usually
fan
complain
mail.
when there's more than
Fan
one
mail.
car in Drip or Drown.
Fan mail. Fan mail.
Yeah, but we're also going to complain when it doesn't happen.
God damn it. I need like a
Can't win,
Goldilocks number of cars for Drip or Drown. I had a few picked out from Iowa. If you really want me to,
number is more than 0, less than 1.
do you really want me to do Drip or Drown?
No.
Wow, dude. All right, here's a friggin' speedrun Drip or Drown. Daniel Dye randomly ran a Rusty Wallace
Okay, that's based.
throwback.
Because Rusty Wallace built
the track.
I guess so. It's just kind of weird to just like throwback to him, just like Daniel Dye. Like, okay. Also, apparently he was in the Colleague 10 car in Xfinity. Who knew?
Which a little known fact is that Jeff Gordon was trying to do the same thing in Canada to build a track similar to this,
Dude.
and that fell.
Yeah, this long-time Canadian lore of Canadian Motor Speedway, how they were like, we're gonna build a 1 mile racetrack, and Jeff Gordon is behind us, and it was like he kind of had like an executive role, but it wasn't like a big thing, and they were like, okay, we're gonna make the province give us a highway exit, and then we'll build the track, and the province was like, I'm not gonna build you a highway exit if you don't have a track, and they're like, okay, we're not gonna build the track then, and it's been stuck that way for like 20 years.
That's a story about how Talladega got built.
Pickles. I don't know what Grillo's Pickles is, but I've seen people go nuts about them on the internet.
Yeah.
Those little,
I think they sell them at Target. Yeah.
those little cans of pickles that everyone seems to love. Anyways, they're on the 38 this week.
As somebody who eats pickles out on the road to stay hydrated, I've never heard of this company before.
Let me look up a picture. I don't know if it's like a TikTok thing. I saw it on Twitter, where people were talking about how these are like the greatest fucking pickles ever. These little guys, they come in this little like plastic bin. The branding's really cute. I don't know. I guess it works. But yeah, you can get them as like spears or slices or whatever, and it looks like there's a lot of dill in there too, which is based. Like you get a ton of dill.
Oh, big fan of tons of dill.
But yeah, they're on the 38 car.
That's pretty cool.
Random 47 car. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is doing like a Kleenex thing, which actually looks like a tissue box, and I think is kind of cool. They also have like random like floral patterns on, so I don't know. I think it looks cool. And lastly, Alex Bowman has another Nashville car. They run these special, supposedly Dale Jr. designed cars, even though it's definitely just Ryan Williams, at Nashville every year. I don't know, it's just a thing that they do with Ally, but it looks sick. Every year they come up with just a car that's better than Alex Bowman's primary.
I like the random guitar there in the middle.
Yeah, I can't be mad. I mean, it's got music notes on it. It says Nashville above the A on the hood. The colors just look really good in this video.
Yeah.
I like the pink usage. Ally, I think, needs more of that, in my humble opinion.
Ally for the Darlington throwback race just needs to do like the 90s like cup with the teal swoosh like on it.
What do you mean?
You guys know what I'm talking about, like the 90s cup with the teal swoosh and like the purple.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the Dixie cups.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, they need to bring back the Pistons scheme.
Jesus Christ.
Now that
I'm
the Pistons
surprised.
are out $65 million for selling, well, not selling, but firing their head coach after a year.
After 1 year, shouts to the Detroit Pistons. I'm surprised Ally hasn't done like a GMAC throwback yet. Since that's the same company, you'd think they would do something like that, but I guess the colors don't match up. I don't know. Alright. Oh yeah, we're supposed to read emails. I'm gonna play the song again.
Send in your fucking email. Wash your fucking hands, slap. Send in your fucking mail.
Send them in, guys.
Wash your fucking hands, slap. I don't give a fuck, man. You better send in those emails at this point.
Welcome to fan mail. Fan mail. Fan mail. Fan mail.
Oh, a follow-up on some fan mail from last week. Keegan did not give me access to his supposed spreadsheet last time, but now I have access to it, and it's pretty similar to mine in terms of like who was on which episode of the podcast. But I think this keeps track of who came up with each title. I don't know if that's
Really?
true. Does this seem right to you? Does this seem like it's actually who came up with each title of the show? I don't know.
I don't know if I came up with Ben, Big Dick Ben. I think that was Caleb.
Maybe just named after you. I don't know.
Yeah. Downtown China.
Yeah, there's some good ones on here. You definitely came up with Downtown China though. I thought I came up with Garbage Soup though. I don't know. A lot of them are like collaboration jobs anyway. Oh, he's also kept track of our most viewed episodes, which apparently 73 sucks. I don't know what 73 was, but
Yeah,
apparently
what was the name of
nobody's watched that.
73?
Hold on, let me check my own spreadsheet because I have all the titles in that one. 73 was Genetic Dead End. It didn't seem that bad. I don't know. I guess people hated it.
Kind of sounds eugenics-y, I guess.
But I don't know. It's weird. There's a few episodes that have randomly like.
Yeah, I know
Popped.
there's like good episodes, and then it just gets like 200.
There's no good
views.
episodes of this show. Come on.
Nihilism, common misery.
Loose Dogs 3 for some reason has outdone like every other episode in season 2.
Do we have
other than
any
like
episode that's over 1,000 views?
yes, the very
Wow,
first
really?
one.
It's had the most time to marinate.
No, it's because the most kids from my old YouTube channel clicked on it and were like, "What the hell is this?" But yeah, there's a few random bangers. Loose Dogs 3 got over 500, which is rare
Alright.
form for modern Shrimp Hours. But listen, I appreciate the 200 idiots who watch this show every week. And that's why you can send us emails. Send in your questions, comments, or concerns to ShrimpHoursPresents@gmail.com. And we'll answer them if they're not stupid on the show. We got 9 emails this week, which I think is a pretty
We'll answer
reasonable
them if
amount.
they're stupid. We'll just say that they're stupid and call you out for it.
We will make
It's true.
fun of you.
Maybe threaten your life.
Maybe question your ancestry.
The first one comes in from Driven Dragon 4. It says, "Hello, Shrimps. If this goes past 100, yeah, but this is the last one. I was working this week and I'm outside almost all the time. We have this bucket that's full of water, and after some hours I decided to use the water, and then I looked at the bucket.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know, it doesn't say what he used it for, but he says, it makes me think of Rusty's gym experience with the hot tub. I will use the water anyway, smelling like shit be damned. Here's to hoping I don't die. What are you using this water for?
Does he mean drinking it?
I hope not.
Oh my god.
Something's growing in there.
Yo, y'all gotta like clean that bucket out. That water's gonna be changed out every day.
Why? What? I need a follow-up. What do you mean use the water? And why can't you just rinse it out? Do send it in. I got
The
more
longer
questions
you look
than...
at it, the worse it gets.
Like
That might be our
what does
last
it mean to
email from
use
him.
the water.
Use
Yeah,
the
if we
water.
never get an email from them again, you know what happened.
He drank the forbidden water. He
All
drank
right.
water of life. He is now Lisa Al-Gaib.
God. It'll do the same thing. It'll put him in a like coma or whatever. He'll wake up as the chosen one. All right. The next email comes from a good friend from down under, Andrew R. He says, "Morning, all y'all. As I write this, the formal announcement is being made. I guess we forgot to talk about this. That Martin Truex Jr. will hang up the helmet, and the 4th JGR seat is up for grabs. Gibbs basically has the pick of the board for who they want, but I'm going to suggest that they'll probably take Chase Briscoe. Briscoe got to Stuart Haas right when they're sliding into irrelevance. So maybe part of his dud seasons have to do with that team being dookie. I think if he was put into the Gibbs 18, then he might repay them with decent results. Thank you from Andrew R. It does feel right that they're probably going to bring back the 18. It makes sense. I'm kind of surprised they're still running without it, and it's such like an iconic Gibbs number. The 19 was like 2 guys drove that car.
Suarez, Carl Edwards.
Yeah, and Truex. I guess that's 3 guys. But yeah, who do you think
they're gonna make it
would
the
go to
18 is
Gibbs?
going to be Noah Gragson or Josh Berry.
Well, who's in the Xfinity series for Gibbs?
Sheldon Creed.
Sheldon
Creed's not ready, and John Hunter
because he keeps on wrecking his
Nemechek.
teammates.
John Hunter Nemechek just bushwhacks, but he's in that 42 car. If he could get a step up, that'd be based. Pull him up from Legacy. I don't know if they have the power to do that.
I still feel like Chandler Smith was like an easy shoe-in for some future Gibbs drive, but I don't know.
I feel like Josh Berry could
That's
bring
true.
in the sponsor money for a Cup car.
But is Gibbs really looking for sponsor money though? Like, do they need sponsor money?
That's what they. That's why what they said they shit canned.
What sponsor
Kyle
money
Busch
does
for.
Josh Berry have? Josh Berry doesn't have anything.
The fucking
got-
SHR shit.
Yeah, but they're not guaranteed
Well, I
to
would
follow
think that would
Berry.
be Gragson because Gragson
Exactly.
has Bass
Gragson
Pro
has
shops
Bass Pro, friggin' Winchester,
and
alt-right
the
coffee.
shitty coffee.
Yeah. He's got it all like ready to go. He's been in that 18 before in the other series. I don't know. I see it happening. All right, the next email comes in from Keegan, who says the stat sheet is now available to you. Thank you. Sorry about that. And I had some honorable mentions for the funniest clips. Rusty in episode 5 saying, "Why don't you pee with your dick?" I don't know the context of that, and I don't know if I do want to.
That is a Rusty thing to say.
In episode
Says that
19,
all the time.
oh, this is a good one. In episode 19, with Ryan Vargas slaps helper getting arrested for attempted murder.
Oh,
I forgot about that story. That's a good one. 2 questions. Is the season 1 poster coming back? No. I told you. I warned you. I told you.
Buy it. Bring
Should've
it.
You
bought
had 1
it.
year to get it.
Get away, Cam.
And is the clown reel coming back? I wish. Can't wait for. I mean, Ben will have it. It'll be on Ben's
yeah,
Twitch.
I'll do it.
Can't wait for episode 104, meaning officially 2 years. Thanks from Keegan. That's kind of crazy. I know we're on 101 already, but
Got it.
too many yapping for 2 years. Mr. Ass writes in with the subject line, "I'm not a psycho dementia patient."
Are you sure about that?
I mean, this is the dude who was at Bowman Gray that wrote like the same email twice, and I got very confused. I don't know if I've ever been more confused on the podcast. He says, "In the newest Shrimp Hours, as I type this, I noticed that Caleb has some interesting figures behind him, and I don't think anyone has pointed this out. And he's attached a picture of Ben with some
I'm glad
interesting,
that my name is
interesting
Caleb.
figures. Some friends hanging out on the hats.
Oh,
Just
no.
just some friends.
They were there for the occasion. Also, I know I look
Ben
like a
is
psycho
confirmed a brony.
with my rants about kids at Bowman Gray. The
I don't have a
Wi-Fi
jar
there
yet.
sucks, so I had no idea. I sent multiple emails. I thought I just sent the last one. I'm not a psycho. I'm a mentally stable person. Trust me. Okay. And then they sent another email that begins with, "Okay, I think I might be a dementia patient." I went to this diecast store across the street from RCR before I planned on going to Bowman Gray. But my stupid ass locked my keys in my car, and I had to call my dad to get AAA to help. But they didn't do shit. So he called the Welcome Fire Department for help. I spent like an hour locked out of my car, and I was so pissed off about the situation, I just drove home. I'm typing this on my bed, and the racing hasn't even started yet. Fuck AAA.
Damn.
One of those situations where you drive home at the speed limit, radio's not on, not a single thought goes through your head. You're just sitting there, you're just driving, you're just like,
No thoughts, head empty.
Yeah.
yeah, you're just too beaten down by the world to get mad or do anything. Completely emotionless, just a carcass just moving towards home.
All right, the next email comes in from Jack. It says, "Hey all, I went to the Cars tour at Dominion this past weekend for the first time, and we had a lot of fun. We saw Shitboxes race after the feature, and Keelan Harvick won in a Legends car, so that was cool. Anyway, I have an animal report. There's one lady sitting 2 rows down from me who would occasionally just look back and stare at me, sort of disgustedly, and she would look away when she saw me look back. She kept doing this for like 10 minutes. She also had an e-cigarette that she would blow the smoke onto the child sitting in her lap. Animal.
Oh my god.
There was also a stroller completely unattended for like 5 minutes with like a 2-year-old and a newborn that looked fresh out of the womb. It's lucky they didn't get stolen.
Any headphones on him?
Doubt it. Also, there were these guys sitting in the rows behind us that whenever we stood up would just immediately use our seats as a footrest as if we weren't going to sit down 5 seconds later. I borderline had to sit on one dude's shoe before he realized and retracted his foot. That's insane. Like, you stand up for like action, like someone wrecks, you stand up and the guy behind you's like, yep, footrest. Anyway, Brendan Queen won. I'm happy about that. Here's the pic I took of the car. I also got to meet Blake and Eric Brennan. How the hell is this podcast still live? Hi Ed, and he won't hear you, from Jack. And has not attached a
ever
picture.
Since Old Dominion moved down to where they are now, like, it's pretty nice. Like, I think I've shown old pictures of what the old track looked like in Manassas before booming real estate took it over, where it was just a shithole. But yeah, they moved it south. They moved it a bit more south out of the stupid I-95 traffic. It's still an I-95, but it's not dealing with North Virginia shit. I'm gonna be there, I think August, driving a Ferrari.
Hey, yo.
What do you mean driving a Ferrari?
It's going to be a supercar experience.
Oh,
One of those experience
at an
things.
oval?
No, they have a road course outside the oval.
Oh, that's fun.
So
I'm excited to hear about that.
Ben, you should have just been like Big Dick Ben, just like, no, I'm taking over for Leclerc. I'm an F1 now.
You and Lewis
Who knows?
Hamilton
Next week I
teammates
might be
next
driving
year.
for McLaren.
Yeah.
An IndyCar might happen. Try Nitro Tulian Man writes in. It says, "Yo Shrimps, it's Try. I can't believe we made it to 100 episodes. That's 2 years I'm never getting back. Been watching weekly since episode 1. Oh man, that's a shame this email will never get read as the show's officially dead. It is. So I went and found a new podcast to listen. It was made in 2019 and it's called The Outlap. Whoa, we don't say those words around here. It's a cool podcast, though you can definitely tell the guys in the show are trying too hard to sound professional. Also, the simping for Ross Chastain is insane. They're on a little hiatus, but I'm sure they'll come back eventually. I might have to delete those. Don't listen to those.
You got a Ross Chastain diecast over here somewhere.
I tried incredibly hard to sound professional.
Because
Back when he drove for Spire for a brief little bit.
I got the wall ride one because I was at the track, and that's why I got this t-shirt as well.
Anyway, I went to Knoxville to watch the World of Outlaws race. I didn't find any animals, though. I did find some traces of what could be either animals or shrimps right at my seat. Also, the hotel we were staying at, the pool and spa were closed, probably from old man soup they had to get rid of. Rusty, I think it's just a Midwest thing. We got to get out of here.
Nah.
I don't really have any questions.
I guess he means pistachios.
Yeah, it must be. I don't really have any questions unless you guys want to explain why you're so down bad for Matt DiBenedetto back in 2019.
Oh, God.
A shame this is the last episode ever. It's been fun. See, don't
It was a
watch
different
that.
time. We didn't
Don't
know.
watch
This
that.
was pre-COVID, dude. We were full of optimism back then.
Everybody was on the DiBenedetto train at that point. And I would like to point out, Caleb was based. And there is a clip from an old thing of him talking about how he hates Matt DiBenedetto and he's a waste of life or whatever. So yeah. Oh, they did include pictures of the supposed shrimp remnants, which is just peanut shells on the grandstand.
Jeez.
And then also
no! Oh my god!
Ooh.
pool's closed. I mean, not that it's a big hot tub anyway.
that's
you
still
can
not
barely
gonna
fit
stop
2
them, man.
dudes in there.
If there was water in there,
Temporarily out
they're
of
still
water.
going in.
Yeah, can we talk about how based it was to have World of Outlaws at Knoxville and NASCAR at Iowa, just 30 minutes apart from each other?
We need more
Yeah,
of
it
that.
was sick. That's the people of Iowa. They're eating
They
good.
took my idea. That was my idea. We have you know,
The Super Weekend.
Xfinity down in Knoxville. Next day, Cup Series go to Iowa, and then we just alternate between the two of them.
What would be based?
Someone at NASCAR is listening to my ideas, and I want the money. I want the money, or else
Ben
the Ryder
Kennedy,
truck.
we see you.
The Ryder truck is getting parked out in Charlotte if I don't get the
Jeez.
money.
If anyone from NASCAR
Christ.
listens to this,
We're sorry.
no, it's over for us already. It's already
I want my
over.
consultant's fee. I deserve it.
Pay the man. All right, the next email comes from Cooper. He says, "Hey Shrimps, I was wondering if you guys could do a Lethal Company podcast, kind of like episode 86 where you played Fall Guys. I think it'd be pretty funny and a
Ted.
good episode."
That would be pretty based.
We have discussed that on previous like Almost Dead nights, where like it would just be in the ship, like not even on a planet. Like it would literally just be like we just sit in the ship and just talk in the proximity chat.
Dude, imagine like getting out the boom box in the middle of Drip or Drown.
Oh, that would
Dude,
be
all we have to do
edited
is
out
load
with ours.
the segments onto the TV. So you just hit the button and Animal Planet will like pop up on the screen. Also, love the show. I've been watching since like episode 1. I'm sorry. Keep up the quality content. That's not what this is. And wash your hands, Slap. Thanks for writing in.
Have we told the people in the podcast that we have the entire Shrek movie on the little TV on the
I think so.
company?
Yeah.
It's like rendered down to hell. So
Dude,
we can
I
get
compressed
underneath
it. I got it down to like an
How big is that
incredible.
file?
Let me find it. Because it's
getting doxxed.
no, the people can't see that. That's only you guys. I got it down to just a stupidly small file. Oh, I guess I have to. Where the hell's the Lethal Company folder again?
Jesus.
It just
Well, while you look for
search
that, I'm going to go to the
X.
restroom.
Wow.
YouTube just recommended me the Super Nintendo version of Waterworld as a forgotten favorite. I don't even remember listening to this.
YouTube Music does pull up like just not actual music, like just stuff that I've watched on YouTube, and it's like, hey,
We
here's
think
some
this is
music.
music. We've added it to your mix playlist. Would you like to listen to this again?
Okay, the people can't see this, but I have to go find where my Lethal Company folder is. When's the
I
last
was
time
just
we
trying
played
to
Lethal
fill some
Company?
dead air. You guys see the latest Gobekli Tepe drama? Yeah, me either.
You just made that up.
What else do I have?
Here, Shrek, for the record, this MP4 file that I downloaded from a definitely legal source was 1 gigabyte, and I got it crunched down the entire movie to 150 megs to fit onto the Lethal Company TV.
What is that? 240p?
Worse, it's so compressed too. Like it's all just blocky, and it looks like if you try to watch it on a screen, it's like genuinely horrible. But because the Lethal Company like graphics just kind of crunch everything anyway, it like kind of fits the aesthetic. But yeah, 150 megs. Beat that. I was putting Handbrake to work. All right, we got 2 more emails. I also forgot about the media check-in. We'll do that after I read these. Rusty Broussard
didn't
writes
forget
in.
about it. That was supposed to be the first thing we fucking did, and you shouted me down. You fucking
Now you
idiot.
tried to push it too early. Now it's going to be at the end.
Oh, this is my version of hell right here.
Rusty Broussard writes in, "Hey Shrimps, it's Rusty again. I don't remember if I said it already, but this weekend I will once again essentially be a correspondent for you guys, as I'll be making my yearly pilgrimage to Loudon, New Hampshire. So if I see any animal behavior, I'll let you know." Speaking of animal
New
behavior,
Hampshire, land of the free. We got some animals up there.
a few minutes ago, I got off the bus I take to work, and there were 3 people that were drunk and obnoxious. Fortunately, I remembered to charge my earbuds so I didn't have to hear them waffling about random shit. That's fair. I'm used to that in big city living. Sometimes you just gotta not see
leave
things.
the cities, man.
Oh my god. All right, last email.
See, you will live in the pod. You will eat the bugs.
Nickman writes in. He says, "Seeing as we're in a new season of Shrimp Hours, I figured it'd be fitting to ask a question about music. Considering that I started season 2 by asking a music question that featured Bob the Builder and 9/11 in the same email."
I don't remember that one. God.
What are your favorite and least favorite album covers? I'm going with some album covers in recent years. One of my favorites has to be Man on the Moon 3. And he's attached a picture of Man on the Moon 3 and gorgeous artwork. Well, it's just a very good looking album cover design. Also looks fitting for what the album is about. One of my least favorites has to be Father of All by Green Day. While it's not the worst looking album cover you'll ever see, it's no doubt one of the laziest. Literally just the American Idiot album cover made a whole lot worse because Green Day was too creatively bankrupt at the time to come up with anything original. So it's very fitting for how this album would end up getting received. I don't know anything about this, but yeah, it sucks.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's not great.
Graphic design is my passion.
So do you have any favorite album covers?
I put one in general.
What is this?
I got on a big thrash metal kick when I was in high school. And so I was like looking for albums and stuff. And I saw this on YouTube back in the day.
Testament.
Testament, The New Order. And I was just like, I listened to the opening track and it's like all acoustic. And then it just like drops this thrash metal riff. And like the whole rest of the album it's all killer, no filler. There's like nothing bad in there. Like it's just a fucking great album. I think it came out in 1988. And I actually got to see Testament when they were still around back in 2011 because they were touring with Megadeth. And they opened for them, and I saw them at the Tabernacle in Atlanta, and it was fucking great. I got punched in the face. I got a nosebleed. I got in the mosh pit. I got in the Wall of Death, and like Testament just playing, all their greatest hits up there, and I was thrashing out. This is a fucking great album cover. When I first heard that riff from the opening track, that acoustic thing is so haunting and so weird sounding, and then you see like you're just like looking at the album cover when you're watching it on YouTube, and you're just like, oh shit, what the fuck.
Yeah, I know I'm not that old, but I do miss the days of like you're listening to music and all you have is just I'm looking at my iPod screen. You just get to like spend time looking at the artwork. That's sick. Ben, what the hell is this?
This is Captain Beefheart and his magic band.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite ones. Just
Le
dude
fiche.
holding the fish in front of his face. If you ever listen to this album,
Pilgrim hat.
you're going to need some drugs ingested before you listen to it, because otherwise you're just going to go crazy.
This already looks like some certified weird Ben
It's
shit.
music by a non-musician played by good musicians that try to make sense of everything.
Sure.
All right.
CMR's got a good submission. Shout out to Cage the Elephant.
Yes, sir. Just the basic first album, and it's a classic, but the album cover, it's just unique. It looks nice.
Yeah.
Nice little skull with some just, I don't know, just a bunch of colors, man.
What the hell is this album called again? Is it just called
Yeah,
Cage
it's
the
just
Elephant?
Cage the Elephant. Yeah, it's
Oh,
the first
okay,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Slap, what the hell is this?
Oh, this is like tons of death metal bands have used art from this Polish artist called Bekshinsky, and he just does like these ethereal fucking weird paintings and stuff. And the guy was
that's
originally
cool.
this guy was originally a photographer, and he was never trained in painting, but he would just make these really like dreamlike, weird, cryptic looking paintings. And he grew up during like World War II and the Holocaust, and they like kind of like really changed his like perspective on stuff. So he made like tons of art and just this really weird,
Dark, like
just dark. There's depictions of death and stuff, and that was like his calling card. And
right. So
oddly
these
enough,
guys love it.
there were tons of death metal bands that like hit him up, and they were just like, hey, can we use your art in like an album cover? Can we like get your license for this? And he was totally down for it. He was just like just whatever death metal band wanted to use his art. He had reasonable fees and stuff, and so they would
That's sick.
that was how I came across Bekshinsky, and his paintings are amazing. If you ever watch it, like look at his stuff, and just all the bands that wanted to use his paintings as album covers. Like, I mean, the Bekshinsky does not miss. If you ever look at any of his art and stuff, if you ever go to Warsaw, Poland, he's got like a whole museum dedicated to just him.
Damn. I do have a submission for the worst album cover of all time. It's that Drake one with the pregnant emojis.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That thing was tough. I don't know if I can pull like an all-time favorite out of my ass right now. But the fucking Watsky ones. Let me see if I can find a compilation of this. That isn't a tiny image. Watsky dropped these albums throughout, like, kind of like over the course of, like before, during, and after COVID. Is there a way I can get an Instagram image to actually load in Google image search? God damn. What the hell? Okay, hold on. Here we go. So yeah, he dropped this album that he called Complaint, which was pretty sick. And then he dropped one called, I think, Intention. And he basically put out like this trio of albums that when you put them like side to side to side, spells out each word, complaint, placement, and intention, and like each, like it all fits. It was all this big puzzle that he put together.
Yo.
Which is fucking, and this like, this is over the course of like several years. Like he had thought up this entire bit. I don't even know how you come up with words that like work like that, where like the three letters from each section of the first word becomes the start of the next word. I don't know. It's cool. Cool stuff.
This man's moving different.
He's like, he started as like a YouTube like poet / rapper dude, and now he's just like ascending to just like general artist guy, where he did like a year-long like scavenger hunt that was like 5 layers deep, that all these dudes spent like a bunch of time working on, that he hid like stuff around the world. Kind of cool. Slap, what is this? Is this an album cover?
This is the one that we said should be an album cover.
Oh yeah, from
the
Romania.
Romanian Revolution.
Yeah, we said that. That would be a
this is Trace and the boys 5 Millers deep at the local bar.
dude on like an actual LP where like half of this is the front and the other half of this is the back. Go hard. Maybe use the left half as the front and the right half as the back. I don't know. Be cool. That's a good question. Thank you for
and
writing.
then there's the 1997 Hollywood shootout where it just has like the cropped Bank of America sign in the background. They do with the AK, and it just says America.
Yeah.
That's an album cover right there.
Well, I guess we'll just roll right into the media check-in, the late media check-in. Because Slap wants to talk about Hot D once
Hot
again.
D. Let me tell you, Daddy D is back. Matt Smith is Daemon Targaryen. Dude, Daddy D, he's rolling deep. He's committing war crimes. There's tons of war crimes happening, and I love every second of it. And Matt Smith even said, like, he has like random people come up to him on the street and be like, Daddy D, Daddy D.
So without spoiling anything, it's good.
It is good. It
All
is
right,
good.
hell yeah.
Peak cinema is back on the menu, and it's going to be fun seeing how some of these storylines get tied up, because in the book, there's like some characters they just don't fucking talk about anymore. Like Otto Hightower, they just stop fucking talking about him. I don't even know what the fuck happens to the dude. There's like some people like in the book, there's two narrators, like one's like the court jester and one's like the maester. So like the jester's like all about the sex, drugs, and rock and roll of the situation. Like the maester's more like, you know, academic, blow by blow, you know, play by play guy. And so they try to piece together what happened. And sometimes there's like completely different outcomes for like a character. Like Alicent Hightower, they say, "Oh, this happened," and then the other guy says, "No, this happened." They're both completely different. I was like, "Well, which one fucking is it?" And like, it's kind of cool. Like in the HBO series, that we're gonna get like a definitive answer.
Hmm.
And then you know, the whole blood and cheese things happens with the in the first episode.
Sure.
Which,
Don't
if you know,
spoil it. Don't spoil
if
it.
you know, you know. If you know, you know.
This is
But-
we're talking
but-
about House of the Dragon for those that don't, by the way. I realize all I introduced this
D.
with this Hot D.
Like if you thought the first episode had like too many war crimes going on, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is the low point. This is the roller coaster that only goes up from here. This is it, baby. This is it.
Has anyone seen the Mad Max Furiosa movie? I watched that literally yesterday in IMAX.
Dude,
No,
I want to watch that. I haven't had a day off of work or anything.
This week was the first week I finally got around to watch Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, it's a perfect time to watch the other one because it ties in more than I thought it would, and I wish I had refreshed myself on the story from Fury Road, which like I remember literally nothing about the story from that movie because it was just nonstop action. It was sick. I remember all of that. But there is like more story in this movie, and it was actually pretty interesting. And I think if it ties into the first movie, like it's kind of like a prequel. Like if you play them back to back, it would be sick.
I watched Red Letter Media. They were doing a review of it, and they said the perfect comparison between these two movies is Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2. You have all the action in the first movie, and then in Kill Bill 2 you have the slowdown, and it explains like the whole story in the
Which
background.
is based because the first movie they're like, here's what we're about, here's some of the coolest action you'll literally ever see, and then they're like, okay, now here's why that matters and here's how that came to be.
I think you just sold the whole thing better than any of these stupid like I don't know.
And there's still like insane stunts, like just the most bonkers shit you could come up with. Just where they're just throwing cars and trucks and bikes everywhere. It's great.
Dude, I
Good,
watched
good big screen movie.
I watched a YouTube video. I forget who it. I think it was the Shit Show, but he talks about how movies and stuff like devolved into a shit show and how they were hard to work on. There's this whole thing about how Fury Road like took 10 years to make and all that shit.
Mhm.
But he was talking about like, the CGI, and like everybody's like, oh, it's all practical effects. Like, no, there's pretty much CGI in every single shot. What they did was they would put practical effects on a green screen, and they would layer them on top of each other on top of like a real like, you know, desert out in
A lot of composition.
Namibia
Australia.
or Algeria, wherever the fuck they were shooting at.
Well, they shot
And
the
so
new
they
one
would-
in Australia. I don't
Yeah, they
know.
would. Yeah, they would layer all these fucking things on top of each other, and like it just fucking works.
And it looks good because there's still like real people doing things.
Yeah. And what's cool is in the first movie, Fury Road, George Miller's wife did the editing on that. She ended up winning an Oscar for this, but somebody pointed out, even though there's all these different cuts and stuff, and it's very frenetic with all these different shit going on, camera angles and all this stuff, the subject of the shot is always where the previous subject was when you go to the next shot. So that your eye never has to move. And they had to do reshoots for this, and they had to like do some creative editing, do some green screen stuff to like make it work. But even though there's all these different cuts, the subject is always where the previous subject was. So your eye is always keeping up track with it. And it's like one of those things like you didn't notice it, but your brain did. And that's why, even though it's so hectic, you keep up with it, and it's so fucking good. Like Mad Max Fury Road 2015 like might be my favorite action movie of all time.
Yeah,
just how fucking good it is. I've watched it like 5 times. I like never get tired of it. And there's never like that point in the movie where you're just like, I want to like let me rewind or fast forward.
You can't breathe watching that.
Let me fast forward like 5 minutes till I get to the good part again. That's like, no, the whole movie is the good part.
Yeah.
One thing that I've heard of the new movie, and this is no spoilers, but DT might have seen it, is they do use CGI for whenever they switch from 10-year-old to current Furiosa, where they CGI the face so it matches the 10-year-old back and forth.
Yeah, there's some parts where it's like Anya Taylor-Joy's like face kind of on like a kid-ish body. It's a little bit, it's kind of weird sometimes because I don't know, she's kind of like, it's like, oh, it's a kid. Oh, she's like kind of growing up, and then it's like, oh, she's like actually an adult now. I don't know. The pacing of it works out though.
Polar Express, like weird Uncanny Valley, where they like take Tom Hanks's face and like put it on a CGI.
Not that bad.
Okay.
Like it still looks good, but it's weird if you know whose face is whose face. I don't know. It didn't take anything out of it. I still loved it. All right, I guess that's the media. Oh, video games. Ben is cracked out on freaking X Defiant.
I am cracked on X Defiant. If you want to play a old school Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, not the new shit, the 2009, like this is the executive producer that made that game. He's doing his own thing now at Ubisoft. Unfortunately, it's Ubisoft. Unfortunately, you have to use their shitty fucking launcher.
Free. At least the game's free. You can get all the guns for free.
There's no SBMM, so you don't have that fucking grind of everyone's the same level of skill, and then you're just always fucking sucking. Here you get the good matches. Here you get the bad matches. You'll get matched up with whoever has the best ping, and I've been cracked on it, and it's great.
It's fun. It's a great, just go and shoot some dudes and throw some things around and have some fun. I'm not sure what the longevity is gonna be like, because I'm sure we're all gonna get tired of it in like a month or so, but they are dropping some new content. So yeah, it remains to be seen. But it's free. Which is great, and it's not like a yearly release game like Call of Duty where they make you pay every year. They're just like, here's
it's
the
free.
game.
They're going to be releasing new maps every month.
And if you want to pay money for the battle pass, you can get a bunch of skins and like coins and shit. But if you don't want to pay any money, it's a free game, and you can get all the guns and all the characters, like just by playing it. And it doesn't even take that long to unlock everything. It's kind of big.
And whenever they do updates, the guys on Twitter saying, hey, these are the changes, these are why we made the changes. There's no like ghost updates that you would get with Modern Warfare 2 of like, remember when they nerfed the noob tube, or one gun has changed balance from the other one and you didn't know. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, I miss the days of like Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 1 back in 2007 on Wet Work, like the one that was on the ship with all those cargo containers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. Shipment. Yeah,
everybody would run triple frag perk, and dudes will just be John Elwaying those fucking things like over the. It was an artillery like barrage, just like you just see frags going back and forth, and like you're trying to dodge those. You got a silenced MP5 just like just trying to like make your way over to the other side and just like spawn trap your opponent without triggering the reset where they would start spawning like behind you on the other side of the map all of a sudden. You would just like try to like work with people, and then like of course like your teammates would push too far in, and that would trigger them to start spawning on the other side. Like turn around, you fucking idiot! Turn around, go back.
I do.
miss
Yeah,
those
so far,
days, man.
I've yet to see a spawn camp. There's been a couple times where I would spawn and guy was looking at me, and I'd immediately die. But other than that, like the maps are really good. Some maps remind me of, well, all right. DT has opinions on it. I think the maps are great. They're 3-lane.
3-lane is generous. There's a lot of sight lines. Especially, there's a couple maps that are just really egregious.
Dude, I loved Favela back in Modern Warfare 2 back in the day. Because there were no lanes. Like, you could, like, run, like, down in the alleys and, like, all this shit. Or you could, like, get up on the roof.
Favela was 3 lanes. You had the middle through the town, and then you had the left side and the right side.
No, but you could get up, like, on the roof and, like, jump around from roof to roof. And, like,
Yeah, but there's still 3 sight lines.
No, there's way more than 3 sight lines.
Yeah, so when Ben says all the maps are 3 lanes, like, that's what Ben means.
That's what I mean. It's like Favela only, but Favela is a 3-lane map.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know about you, but I got fucked in way more than 3 holes on that fucking map.
But yeah, there's like one map reminds me of Rust, which is the whatever the stadium is called.
Oil rig thing, yeah.
Yeah, there's one map reminds me of that. There's another map that reminds me of Afghan in Modern Warfare 2.
They also have a TF2 game mode where you have to like escort a thing like down a path, and the other guys try to like defend it, and you can hit like certain checkpoints. Yeah, actually, really fun. It's one of my favorite game modes, but there's a lot of guys who are really good at it.
Like in Battlefield, where you have to capture 2 points, and then you move up towards in the map to the next points.
I don't like that very much.
Do they have a Battlefield like 4 like Operation Metro, Operation Locker type thing?
What does that mean?
Do you guys never played Operation Locker, Operation Metro? Battlefield 3 and 4? Oh my god, dude. Like it was this fucking map where it was just like all underground. There's no
there's no map like that. I remember. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's no way to lob grenades like a whole like, you know, from one side of the map to the other. So it's all dudes with machine guns and these choke points just like shooting it out. And every once in a while, some guy would like get lucky and he would just like lay out everybody, push forward, and all the dudes like go in and like they're just all shooting and shit. It's complete chaos. You're racking up like godlike kill streaks. You get killed, you go in, you get killed before you even get a kill yourself. And then you're just, you know, you want that dopamine hit, you know, when you get that fucking kill streak going. You want to go back in there, and it's just like Operation Metro, 999 tickets, unlimited, no shotguns, and everybody's just like funneling into the meat grinder. It's fun as fuck.
Now, if you wanted a game like that, you should have played with us in a BattleBit last year.
Oh yeah,
that game died.
That game died because a ton of people played it and they refused to hire anyone else, and it's still the same like
3
one
dudes.
dev, 1 art guy, and 1 marketing guy, and that's the entire thing. And they made an incredible game, got like hundreds of thousands of people to play it, and now it's down to like 1K concurrent because they were like, yeah, we'll just keep making the game. Didn't add enough stuff. People became disinterested.
Well, a video recently came out that I was watching about BattleBit because it's around the year anniversary that the game came out right now. But they're talking about how like everyone came in, it was a big game, and this was after we left. But apparently after we left, they switched to community only servers, and that's when everyone split out into their own thing, because all of these servers were very customizable, but that caused everyone to split into their own factions of what they wanted in
Battle. Playing different games at that point.
Right. And there was no mode that was like the original BattleBit, and the official servers no longer exist. It's just all these community servers now.
How to kill your game 101.
Yep.
Dams.
Well,
Speaking about killing,
It's over.
and speaking about 101, that was Shrimp Hours 101. Remember to buy some stuff on shop.shrimphub.cool. And this is your warning that the season 2 stuff is only going to be available until the season 3 stuff comes around. You have an entire year. That should be more than enough. Oh, I don't have the music on this. Oh, God damn it.
God.
It's over.
Wait, hold on. We have the technology.
do we?
Yeah.
Hey.
But yeah, do pick up some stuff.
Buy the
on-
T-shirt, buy the hat, buy the loose dogs.
One person, I don't know who it was, but one person bought the loose dog slides, which I think is hilarious. Shout out to whoever that is.
If you bought the loose dogs like sandals, like please hit us up.
All right, Seymour, thanks for coming on again for 101.
Thank you for having me.
Seamer.
Everybody else, we'll see you never.
Do we have a title?
Oh yeah, we do have a title.
Trash can tsunami.
Yeah, Trash Can Tsunami is the title. Bye.
New.
Steve Phelps, you know that Caleb's going after you. He's finding you. That's why he's not here.
He's on the way. He's got the rider shrug.